pleasant good morning to you. It is Friday, January the 7th. I'm Shane Seeley and this is the CBC Morning Report. The Barbados Labour Party will continue its housing projects in Orange Hill and rural Barbados. The assurance has come from the Prime Minister, Mia Motley, as she addressed a mass meeting in Belle Plaine, St. Andrew last night in support of the candidacy of Dr. Rommel Springer for that constituency. However, the Prime Minister told the audience that they too have a part to play in this process.
You have seen some of the most significant housing developments take place in the last 30 years there. We haven't stopped. We will continue. And I want to give you the assurance. You do your part for me on the 19th of January, and we shall do our part for you for the next 5 years. I ask you, therefore, we are in difficult times. I ask you to remain safe. But I ask you to recognize that your ability to come out and to give Rommel that vote is an indication that you too don't want him just to get by, just to win. You want to send a message that you have a son of the soil that you want to send up there with the largest possible majority and mandate that you can give him.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General and BLP candidate for St. Joseph, Dale Marshall, says he's baffled by some of the contributions on the DLP platform. He cannot believe the two parties are being compared.
When I heard the Dems asking, I'm sure I heard them over the last few days saying, are you better off now than you were when we were in power? That's what they said. And they almost ran off the road. Because I could not imagine that any sane person would compare anything that we are living with now to what they had us in. I can't. Yes, you are better off now than we were under the Democratic Labour Party.
And BLP candidate for St. Peter, Colin Jordan, says there are stark differences between his party and the Democratic Labour Party. During a fiery speech at the BLP's mass meeting last night, Jordan highlighted the fact that under the last DLP administration, tertiary education was no longer free for Barbadian students.
The people of the North suffered when those people who call themselves the inheritors of Errol Barre's legacy sought to destroy education in this country. People in St. Peter and St. Lucie and St. Andrew, all over the North, having to stop university because they, after they climbed the ladder, thought that the best thing to do was to kick it down. This Barbados Labour Party has restored tertiary education free at the point of delivery.
On the other side of the divide, there is an assertion that much of the Barbadian electorate lacks confidence in political representation here on the island. This is the view of Democratic Labour Party candidate for St. Michael's South East, Pedro Shepherd, who spoke to CBC News at a campaign meeting in St. Philip North, where he was supporting fellow party candidate Michael Lashley. He assured that from his party's end, it's about servitude and proper representation.
Too many persons in the constituency, and I suspect it is all over Barbados, are saying that all politicians are the same, that they only come to you for the vote and then you don't see them again until the next general election. So I keep saying to people that it is an extremely hard task to convince people that we, the new and young politicians, are here to be different. We are here to restore some confidence in the electorate. We're here to ensure that the electorate once again feel that politicians are there to be their servants. And throughout this campaign, the Democratic Labour Party candidates will ensure that they remind people that they are being elected to the Parliament of Barbados to be servants and not to be politicians.
DLP candidate for St. Andrew, Aldwinsky, is calling for politics in Barbados to focus on the people. Speaking at a pop-up meeting in Bruceville, St. Andrew, Mr. Skeet said the standard of political representation must be elevated to meet the needs of the people rather than political interests.
I believe that we need to take the representation to a higher level, a more dignified level, a level that people can understand is that this kind of representation is not normal, but this kind of representation is desired and is sought after, because I believe that in Barbados we need a new dispensation of politics and a new breed of politicians that will be more people-centered and not party-centered.
And as 6 Roads, St. Philip, continues to develop into a business hub in the east, the DLP candidate for St. Philip South, Neil Marshall, believes consideration needs to be given to entrepreneurs as business expands. Marshall revealed that himself, along with the fellow St. Philip hopefuls of Dr. David Estwick and Michael Lashley, have created a comprehensive developmental plan for the area.
There is a situation where residents, and when I say residents, I'm not only going to speak of persons from St. Philip South, but also persons from St. Philip generally, but they're now being crowded out of that space, and they're more or less being relegated to the most unsuitable and undesirable areas. And government must play a developmental role in any and everything that it does, and that developmental role must be primarily to facilitate those persons who cannot or find it more difficult to provide the sort of environment or infrastructure and capitalization that would allow them to advance and to support themselves and their families.
Barbados has new emergency management directives. We will give you the details in our COVID-19 updates. New emergency management directives are now in effect, which will see no curfew on January 19th, Election Day. Attorney General Dale Marshall spoke to the list of new directives.
At midnight tonight, upon the expiration of the current COVID directive, a new COVID directive will be put in place and will last until January 31st. This new directive will be very much the same as the previous recent directives, in that there will be a curfew from midnight each night until 5 a.m. the following morning. There will be one exception to that rule, however. On election night, there will be no curfew at all. The rationale behind this really draws from the history of our last experience on election night, where voting was considerably delayed until well into the hours of the next morning.
The Attorney General also said, given the rising COVID-19 numbers, there is no predicting what will happen, so there is need for the process to be seamless for the officials.
It is difficult to predict what might happen on election night in relation to the slowing down of various processes, and therefore we feel it best, having considered all of the scenarios, to leave the way clear for the Electoral and Boundaries Commission to do their work properly and unrushed, taking as much time as is necessary without running afoul of the directives.
Now looking at the local COVID-19 situation, there were 420 new COVID-19 cases here in Barbados, as shown on the latest situation report from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Of the 420 taken from 1,978 tests, there are 172 males and 248 females accounted for. From a care perspective, 184 of the patients are in isolation facilities, while 2,019 are in home isolation. Further afield now, the World Health Organization says a record 9.5 million cases of COVID-19 were tallied around the world last week, marking a 71% weekly surge that amounted to what has been termed as a tsunami. This as the new Omicron coronavirus variant sweeps worldwide. However, the number of recorded deaths is on the decline. We have a report on the hospitalization numbers from a select group of countries who are experiencing those high numbers of infections.
We're going to look at some graphs from our World in Data, as always. This one, a whole bunch of countries, mostly European, because that's where we get the most reliable data. We're looking at weekly new hospital admissions per million people. That's the way we can look at a comparative metric. So this was the start of the pandemic when things were really bad. This was the winter period, so I say last year, this time last year, where things were at their worst. There was another little peak over the summer, and now things are going up again. That's the general sort of roller coaster trend. Here are some specific countries. The United States, first of all, two lines I want to put onto this graph. One, we'll call this the Omicron line. So that's the point where Omicron is identified, and you can see how much hospitalizations have gone up since then. But this line I'm going to draw here as well. That's showing you that hospital admissions are at almost the same level as they were a year ago when things were at their worst in the United States. So let's move on to Europe. Spain and the UK, I've put these on the same graph because, as you can see, they've got pretty similar trajectories. They had their peak again around this time last year, but now both increasing, as are France and Italy, two countries we've heard about just there, which are bringing in new restrictions. Conversely, the Netherlands and Germany, both showing a dramatic decline in the number of people in hospital. The Netherlands was one country which put pretty strong lockdown restrictions in place over Christmas, and Germany has been tough as well, perhaps not as tough, but it certainly shows that lockdowns, whilst difficult socially and economically, can have a good impact on health data. And one more I want to show you, South Africa, where Omicron came into play, which is obviously around this point. We had a big increase in hospitalizations, but the South Africans have been talking about reaching the peak of Omicron, and this graph shows it. Hospitalizations absolutely doing a U-turn at this point and heading downwards as well. So that's just a snapshot of a few different countries for you. Here is Lawrence Gostin, who's a professor of medicine and the founding O'Neill Chair in Global Health Law at Georgetown University. He says it's essential, quite simply, to get people vaccinated in order to avoid further lockdowns and restrictions.
It's very likely that we're seeing a major surge. Some would call it a wildfire of Omicron. It's the most contagious pathogen on the planet, and it's maybe among the most infectious ever in the history of the earth. And so there's going to be rapid spread. There's going to be a lot of cases. And our end game, our goal, is to try to live with this virus. And we do that by preventing people from becoming ill, hospitalized, and dying. And the best way to do that is through vaccinations.
Over in France, the Parliament has approved President Emmanuel Macron's plan for a COVID vaccine pass to help curb the spread of the Omicron variant. It comes after 3 days of tumultuous debate.
It's not a surprise because the government has a majority in the lower house of Parliament. The bill now goes to the Senate and it may go back to the Parliament before probably coming into law in the middle of January. What it means for people is that the unvaccinated population will no longer have access to things like restaurants, cafes, leisure facilities. Everyday life for them will certainly become a lot harder. Now, the bill was finally approved by the Parliament, though it has to be said, after 3 incredibly intense days of debate in the Parliament, often chaotic scenes, overshadowed also by the French President's rather controversial comments on Wednesday when he said that he was going to really tighten the screws and go after unvaccinated people in France. What they are doing is they are betting on this vaccine pass as a way to try and persuade the last, they say, 5 million adults that are eligible for the vaccine to go and get immunised. And look, they're looking at the record of the current health pass. Now, the health pass that was put in place by the government last year has persuaded, you might say, some 90% of people to get vaccinated. Before that health pass was necessary to go to a restaurant or a bar, only 30 to 40% of people in France said that they wanted to get a vaccine. As soon as that pass was put in place, people rushed to get their jabs. The government are hoping that's going to be the same thing now, that it will force people to go and get vaccinated. Whether it will or not, of course, we don't know. But the health minister did say on Wednesday that some 66,000 people had actually registered for their first dose of a COVID vaccine. So they see that as an encouraging sign.
6:16 now. We have more news coming your way, but before we get to that, of course, we got to check with Pearson to see what he has for you on the Friday edition of Mornin Barbados to take you into the weekend. Pearson, how are things looking on your side?
Oh, they're looking great. The weekend is just ahead indeed. But thank you. Good morning to you, Shane. Good morning, everyone. When you join me at 6:30 this morning, we'll introduce you to a woman from Montserrat. She now lives in the UK, but she's written a collection of poems that chronicle her experience in the volcanic era, her passions, her loves, her sisterhoods, all of those things wrapped up into tamarind seeds. She'll talk to us a little bit about that. We'd also this morning meet a young woman who's following her passion. So she's offering a suite of services in V Elegance Salon. She's a past student of the Springer Memorial School. We'll walk her journey with her. And earlier this week, we introduced you to a man, 74 years old, who for the last 40 years has been just eating raw or live food. Yes, that man will talk to us a little bit more about that journey and his lifestyle and how we can all benefit from it. Just a little bit of what you can expect when you join me here at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. It's back to you, Shane.
Interesting stuff coming your way there on Morning Barbados, right here on Morning Report. BSTU President Marianne Redmond back in the news again. She's talking about school. You'll hear what she has to say after the break. The plan phased the return for students to the physical classroom on January 24th will more than likely be put on hold. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union has made it clear its teachers will not be returning to face-to-face instruction in light of the surge in COVID-19 cases linked to the Omicron variant here. The BSTU is expected to enter into discussions with education officials in the coming days, but the President, Marianne Redmond, tells the Morning Report her teachers are very concerned about the current COVID-19 situation, with a record number of new cases registered over the past 3 days.
In my opinion, the second term looks very iffy, both for the protection of teachers, students, and other workers in the schools, given Omicron. The thing is that, as I said, in the interim, parents should use the time to get their children vaccinated, so that they return to school as protected as they can be. The secondary cohort especially are those most resistant to the protocols, most non-compliant to the COVID protocols. They're the ones that generally have a problem keeping their masks on, maintaining physical distance. The transportation system as well is one that is of grave concern to us. The fact that you lose, quote unquote, control of the children once they are outside of the school premises.
The BSTU boss reveals there were also some preconditions for the restart of face-to-face classes regarding vaccination, which are yet to be met.
The ministry did indicate that for each school, there must be a 70%, at least 70% vaccination rate for the population. Now that includes both the teachers and the adults on the compound, which would be, other adults on the compound, which would be ancillary staff, as well as at least 70% vaccination rate among the students, those eligible at this point in time. And that was another precondition for us being able to return to school. It is vital, therefore, especially with the advent of Omicron, that we get our children vaccinated. If there is to be a resumption of face-to-face instruction anytime soon, that can happen in a safe way, then there must be an uptick in vaccination uptake in this country.
Former LIAT staffers are planning a peaceful protest for next week. Well-placed sources told the Morning Report permission is being sought for the protest to take place at the Grantley Adams International Airport. A letter was sent to the Commissioner of Police, Richard Boyce, but a call to him revealed he has not yet received it, but it is stamped by his registry. The letter, which is signed by LIALPA President Patterson Thompson, is proposing 3 days of peaceful demonstration from the 14th through to the 16th of January to bring their near 2-year-old plight to the public's attention. They want to picket at the roundabouts near to the airport. Jean Agatha Ford, the mother of Barbados Labour Party candidate for Christchurch West Central Adrian Ford, has been traced. The 78-year-old of Fruitful Hill, St. Joseph, was reported missing on January 6. She was found after an extensive search of areas in St. Joseph and St. Andrew. Mr. Ford told CBC News it was the hardest 48 hours of his life. We hear more from Crystal Hoyt.
Barbados Labour Party candidate Adrian Medit Ford is today breathing a sigh of relief after his 78-year-old mother, who was reported missing on Tuesday, January 4th, has been found.
Thank God for answering the prayers not only of myself and my entire family, but I suspect every single Barbadian. I want to thank the community of St. Andrew, who walked from the time that we found out that she was missing around 8 o'clock 2 nights ago. It shows the type of woman that my mother is in terms of having that relationship with her community.
He thanked the Prime Minister, his political colleagues, media and armed forces for their efforts, but especially his constituents.
Who came out in their numbers from the time that they heard the news. Some even got in their vehicles and headed to St. Andrew to ensure that they covered the area. They came with the searchlights. When I got there, I was so pleasantly surprised to see the amount of support I got from my constituency. If you look around, there are 2 constituents still here, some just over the market, who stayed the course set by my mother's home to ensure that when daylight hit, that we are back on the trail, not the campaign trail this time, but on the search and rescue trail for Jane Ford. And that, I think, was significant.
He said for him, family was most important.
As I said, we're still breaking the campaign for my mother. I think it's a no-brainer. And I think that every single constituent that I represent would have wanted me to take some time out to look after my immediate family. I think that's really how we were raised as Barbadians. It's really who we are. Persons from all political parties reach out to me in support because they understand that you can't have the political, philosophical line aside when it comes to something like families.
Ms. Ford has received medical attention and is now with family. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
Yesterday, people across the United States commemorated the first anniversary of the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol, described by top officials in Washington, D.C. as an unprecedented assault on the country's democracy. A mob of former President Donald Trump supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021, as Congress was meeting to certify Joe Biden's election victory.
It was a challenge to his presidency before he even became president. And 1 year on from the riot at Capitol Hill, Joe Biden marked the anniversary with a speech to the nation.
For the first time in our history, a president had not just lost an election, he tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power as a violent mob breached the Capitol. But they failed.
The crowd marched on the heart of democracy in the US to challenge the certification of the 2020 presidential election. Donald Trump claimed he'd been cheated.
And we're going to the Capitol.
And fueled by anger and lies, his supporters fought battles across Capitol Hill as they tried to stop Congress doing its job.
This wasn't a group of tourists. This was an armed insurrection.
But this moment, this challenge to American democracy has not brought the country together. Instead, President Biden's speech just shows the fracture in US politics.
We must decide, what kind of nation are we going to be? Are we going to be a nation that lives not by the light of the truth, but in the shadow of lies?
In sporting news now, former Barbados and West Indies opening batsman, the most honourable Dr. Desmond Haynes, has been appointed lead selector of the West Indies senior men's team. The confirmation was made during a meeting of the Cricket West Indies Board of Directors earlier yesterday. He will lead the selection panel until June 30th, 2024, a period that includes 4 ICC global events, 2 T20 World Cups in 2022 and 2024, the Cricket World Cup in 2023, and the World Test Championship Final also in 2023. Dr. Haynes replaces Roger Harper, who lost the job recently after the dismal performance of the Windies at the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in the UAE. Dr. Haynes played 116 test matches and 238 one-day internationals for the West Indies between 1978 and 1994. He scored 7,487 runs in tests, including 18 centuries, and 8,648 runs in ODIs, including 17 centuries. He also captained the West Indies in 4 test matches and was a member of the West Indies team, which won the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup back in 1979. Let's now look at some international test cricket that's on. The Ashes still going on. Australia versus England. Australia have already won the series 3-0, but England are fighting back in this 4th test at Sydney. Australia made 416 in their first innings with a good century from Usman Khawaja on return to cricket. Now it's the turn of Johnny Bairstow, who is not out on 103 at stumps. He was the star for England in their response. Ben Stokes was alongside him for a 100 partnership with 66, and Mark Wood chipped in as well with a good 39. But England still behind by 158 runs. Of course, all of that action you can watch on MCTV's Sports Match channel. That's 310. And let's now look at the weather. Temperature right now is 26 degrees Celsius. It's feeling a bit warmer this morning. The apparent temperature stands at 28 degrees Celsius. It is fair on the outside and the relative humidity is 70%. The barometric pressure is 1014 millibars and those winds are coming out of the east, topping off at around 18 kilometers per hour. We'll see a high tide at 20 minutes to 8 this morning. The low will be this afternoon at 1:22. There will be another high tide at 29 minutes to 8 tonight. Low seas are smooth to moderate in open water with swells which are peaking at 2 meters right now but expected to increase. Today in Barbados it will be partly sunny with a few brief scattered light showers. And tonight, to take you into the weekend, it will be partly cloudy with a few brief isolated light showers. And here's a quick look at the international weather forecast. And that's it for the Friday edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'll see you at 12 with CBC Newsday. I'm Shane Seeley. Up next, Pearson Bowen with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning. Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Morning to you indeed. Morning, everyone. It's Friday, January the 7th, 2021. I am Pearson Bowen. Pleasure seeing to all of you today. Good morning and thank you for joining us on Morning Barbados. For those of you here in Barbados, everyone else across the world as well, all of our information is right there at the bottom of your screen where you can watch us. You can watch us on our Facebook page, Morning Barbados, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. It is indeed Friday, the one night of the week for those of us who work Monday to Friday to have the best sleep in the world, because in waking up there's no alarm and you just want to just relax and recline. So enjoy your moment of recreation this weekend, everyone. Now this morning we meet a young woman who is a reggae artist and she's released her album, a love trilogy, but her latest is Superhero video has been dropped. We'll meet her, Vanessa Bongo, this morning. We'll also be meeting this morning with a man who has a passion and lots of experience in teaching woodwork and construction. So he's put all of that together in one book called Understanding Industry, the Core Concepts. We meet Seth Dalsey this morning, who's written that. And there's one other person who I want to introduce you to this morning, whose name you know very, very well. And so you get to know more about them. I shall not give you the name now. Stick around to find out who it will be right here on Morning Barbados this Friday morning. But let's get started by traveling across the world to meet with this, our first guest. Her name is Merle Roach. She's put together a book called Tamarind Seeds, which chronicle her life from Montserrat to the UK and all in between. Merle Roach, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson.
How are you doing?
And good morning, Barbados.
Thank you so much indeed. But so how are you doing, Merle?
It's a chilly morning here in the UK, but I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing good.
I think for anyone who has experienced, and I use the word deliberately, experienced the island of Montserrat will walk away feeling so refreshed, so revitalized, because it's such a beautiful emerald paradise. But then we had the eruption of the volcano, which in some way changed a portion of Montserrat. Were you there at the time of eruption?
I was indeed. I can remember the day very well. It came out of the blue, sort of.
Yes.
Because it was a lovely blue-skied day, but it came out of the blue, and I was there. And it just changed my life, a lot of people's lives. I think every Montserratian's life was changed, because even if you didn't live there at the time, you were connected to Montserrat. So everybody's life was changed on that day in 1995.
And it bothered me because just a couple of years prior to that, I was there myself, having worked there for a little bit too. And I remember driving up, because at that point you could drive up to the crater and experience it. I remember myself going up there and thinking, oh my gosh, I've just gone to the center of the earth. You know, it looked so harrowing. But there you are, you had this that was a wonder of the world, and suddenly it became so destructive. And what are your memories really of Montserrat post-hurricane? Because you now live in the UK.
Post volcano. That's all right, because we did have Hurricane Hugo in '89, so I completely understand. And hurricanes are such a staple in the lives of Caribbean people. But the life in Montserrat just before Chances Mountain erupted was one that echoed and sort of resonated throughout the Caribbean. We were taking our rightful place in the Caribbean. We had made lots of memories. We had just been coming along at a pace that we thought, yes, we are part of the Caribbean. And even though we're a British colony, we had done so much. And for Plymouth, the East and the South, now to be not a part of Montserrat's present, it is a bit disheartening, but we are building back. We're definitely building back. We're not trying to recreate what was before, but we're making our own new Montserrat so that the generations coming will be able to say that they love Montserrat the way we loved the Montserrat pre-volcano.
You know, there's a toughness that we're hearing coming out of your voice, a resilience about your island. And so when you think of tamarind seed, which is the name of your book that you've written, a collection of poems, the tamarind seed is a very strong seed. It's very difficult to crush. And so talk to me a little bit about putting all of your experiences, all that you've been through, into your tamarind seeds.
I tell you what, I have been, doing a bit of writing here and there all the time. My actual passion is theater. But I got to love creative writing. So I would write stuff, and then because of the volcano and being away from Montserrat, there were things inside of me that I wanted to put down and to express in a way that I would hope that other people could read and understand. And so I kept writing little stuff, never thinking, oh, I'm going to be a published author one day. But I just kept writing. And I started performing some of my poems, and people would go, where can I buy your book? And I thought, maybe I can do a book. And I started picking out little different pieces that I thought I would like to share with the world. And I thought, what can I call this book? Because it has a bit of sweetness, a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of bittersweetness, a little bit of tang.
Yes.
And I thought, tamarind, that's what I get from tamarind. And that's what I remember from tamarind as a child.
Yes.
These huge trees, and you shake and you get down that fruit.
Yes.
And you never know how it will taste. It will either taste sweet or it might taste. You know
I know what you mean. Yes, indeed. You're triggering for me. You're triggering for me so many of my own childhood memories, and you're so right. And it's just so ironic. It's just so ironic because just a couple of days ago I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and that's exactly what we were talking about, the tamarind. And here it is today. I'm meeting you, who's written a book called Tamarind Seeds, collection of all of those things. Even the bitter with the sweet tells your experience in Montserrat. And that's the truth of your life is what you've put down on paper in those books and those poems. That's fantastic. So it's available how? How is it available?
I've got a website. I perform and have a website under the name Aliogana Pearl. Now, Aliogana is the indigenous name for Montserrat, which was given to us by the Arawaks. So it means land of the prickly bush. It would have been nice if it was land of the tamarind seed, but no, it's not. So I've got a website that you can order my book from. It's www.alioganapearl.com. Yes, I can see you've got the information, and and you can get to me via Facebook, via YouTube, via Instagram, and it's all Aliogana Pearl.
Oh, it's such a wonderful book. How has it though been for you leaving your place of birth? You traveled through St. Martin and Antigua, and now you're in the UK. How has it been for you?
It's been a learning experience. You know, visiting islands and visiting places is fine, but when you have to live there and assimilate yourself into the culture, into the way of living and all of that, it's very different. And it's very, it has given me a lot of information for my book, honestly.
So what is your favorite poem from the book? I say you have it in your hand there. Could you read for me one that you think is your favorite, that whenever you read it, everyone goes, wow?
I tell you what, I am so glad you've asked me, because I wanted to read this one, which I think it's part of being a Caribbean person, living overseas, and also it's a tribute to, now that I know your program, to your program.
Thank you.
And I'll read it now. Is just good morning. But look how you stare upon me, like you think me is Tyler Perry, mad black woman that's crazy. Me give you me nicest Colgate smile, and you just stare upon me like fish we spoil. You need for understand that where me come from, everybody say good morning, cause that is the standard custom. And whether or not we know your name, we greeting and smiling with you just the same. And now, me live in this gray, cold country, where most of the people no realize it no cost nothing to be friendly. But all you sourdough face and you cut eye, nah stop me from say morning or even just hi. Me hope one day you will come for understand and manage for reply, even crack one smile and wave your hand when you realize that a warm greeting is all the mad black woman giving is just good morning.
Well done, Merle. I love it. I love it that you've written in the dialect as well. You've not purified the language to make us understand, because we do understand still. And even though your dialect is somewhat a little bit different from mine, I follow the message. It is so well done. Thank you. You know who you remind me of here? She lives here now. Yvonne Walks. Do you know her name?
Yvonne Weeks.
Weeks, yes. Weeks.
She is one of my, I don't know what to call it, mentors. She's a mentor. She's a friend. She is a cultural icon that I just admire. I've worked with her in the past. You remember me saying theater is my passion. Yvonne was a director that I enjoyed working with.
I'm telling you, she
And
must
as
be...
a writer, she has been an inspiration too.
Yes, she's really, really good. I'm sure she's watching this morning and she's thinking, look at
I
my
hope
girl,
she
Merle.
is. I hope she is. I really hope she is.
This is fantastic. I see that you represent your nature isle very well. You know, your earrings.
Yeah.
You're on the Emerald Isle, Montserrat. What a beautiful place. I just love your overall look. I love the book. Remember, folks, we'll share that information with you on our social media pages as well. Go to the website, and if you can, my production crew, if you can bring up again the information, we can show people the website to which they can go and get a copy of the book. And I'm telling you, when you read the experiences as chronicled by Merle Roach, the author of the book Tamarind Seeds, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. A collection of poetry written by Merle Roach, which gives you a snapshot of her life in her native island of Montserrat. So all of it is right there. It's quite a great book. I want to read it. I can't wait to get it myself. It looks like it's going to be quite fun. Merle, thank you for joining us from the UK. Thank you for introducing us to the Tamarind Seeds. Thank you for putting your work down on paper, and we're looking forward to even more from you.
Thank you, Pearson. Thank you for having me on Morning Barbados. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And as we say in the Caribbean, we say what? Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, Merle. Thank you so much indeed. Merle Roach, from Montserrat, the author of the book Tamarind Seeds. Get a copy of it today. Remember, get over to our social media platform, Facebook, and you see how you can get onto the website, what's the website, and get a copy of the book. We'll take a break here. We're coming back with even more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
12 and a half minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. Now, words like excellence and elegance have been used to describe what this next guest does. And so we're happy this morning to bask in that with her. Her name is Velsina Hunt, a young girl, Velsina Hunt. Good morning to you, Velsina.
Good morning, Barbados.
How long did it take you to be comfortable with your first name?
It took me a while, to be honest, because growing up, I had never liked my name growing up, but I actually love it now because it's unique, and I'm the only person I know with the name Velsina.
I love it too. When I saw it, I thought, how old could she possibly be? And then I knew you were a young person, so I was like, all right, fine, fair enough. But at least it means something to you, and as it relates to your business as well. What do you know about what your name means?
My name, Velsina, means ruler.
And so you've used that as a part of the name of your business. What's the name of your business?
Velegance Beauty Salon.
Velegance Beauty Salon. You're talking about ruler and elegance. You're talking about offering a suite of services as well. Now, we got word of you because we were told that you do what you do so well that you needed to be recognized. And naturally, Morning Barbados is the place to do so. How long have you been doing what you do now?
Well, I have been in the field for over 10 years, but I started my business. My business was established on January 3rd, 2016.
In a good month, January, but since 2016, you've been doing what you do.
Yeah.
What kind of experience did you have before opening your business?
Before opening my business, I was given the opportunity at 16 years old to work in a professional hair salon while I was at school, because I went to the best school in Barbados, Springer Memorial.
All right.
Well, Well, I was at about 14 years ago in my early
Yes.
teens. I was a student there, and I was also an athlete on the track and field team, and I was also a young Christian. So, given the opportunity at a young age to work in a professional salon, you know, that paved the way for me to where I go now. So I had always wanted the experience, the knowledge from working there. But I knew from when I was working there, I always know that I wanted to start in my own business. I wanted to be on my own. I wanted to have my own company. So the experience derived from there was a great opportunity for me, helped me get to where I am now.
So you weren't scared at all about branching out on your own to open Velegance Beauty Salon?
I was terrified. I was at first I was really terrified, but I have a really strong support system. My family, my church family, my school family, everyone believed in me. They motivated me, they pushed me. But I remember while I was doing the client here, I was discussing with her going on my own, but it was I was very afraid of doing it because I was thinking about who would come to me, who would support me.
Right.
And I didn't have the facilities as a big salon does. I didn't have a hydraulic chair, I didn't have a shampoo sink back then. And all of that made it very difficult going into the business. But I took risks, dive into it, and I'm here today.
The person who told me about you, you were braiding their hair. So let's look at the services that you do. What is it that you offer at Velegance Beauty Salon?
Well, here at Velegance Beauty Salon, we offer a wide range of beauty services. We offer natural hairstyling, relaxers, curls, braid, weave, barbering. I'm also a female barber. We do everything in the hair industry. And we also do manicures and pedicures, waxing, eyebrow sculpting, and sales of beauty products.
So the fellas come to get a haircut with you too?
Yes, fellas come and get their haircut, yeah.
You know, oftentimes...
That's actually an advantage.
Really? How so?
That's actually... Well, I went to Butters Barber School to learn how to cut hair.
Right.
But I find that my male clients at first, well, not my clients, but new clients at first, they were more skeptical of a female barber doing their hair. They're accustomed to getting a male do their hair, so they were a bit skeptical. But my personal clients, they believed in me. They was like, Val, line me up. Val, you know, they believed that I had the ability to do and to execute them to look their best.
I know what you mean, because the barbershop that I go to, you know, you see her seat vacant, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm waiting on him. You know, I was one of those people until one day I couldn't wait, and then she cut my hair, and I thought, not bad at all. I'm a basic haircut, but nevertheless, not bad at all. So people are finding it very comfortable and relaxing to come to you. But the range of services that you offer over just that short period of time, you know, it's amazing that you're offering all of this. How large is your staff complement?
I started out, it was just me filling all the positions in the area. Well, right now, I was the general manager. I did the sales and marketing. My accounting part of my business is outsourced to a private entity. Okay. So I have an accountant. I don't deal with the accounting part of the business. And I have a part-time bar. But I'm looking to employ and branch off and to employ more staff, because as a growing business, there's room for growth and there's room for expansion. So my goal is to bring in employees, to hire people, and to also teach and to train them to, you know, to be the best that they can in the industry.
I love how you're looking forward and offering what you're offering. So for those watching this morning, where are you located?
I'm located in Foul Bay, St. Philip.
Foul Bay.
Oh, not too far. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Foul Bay, it is not too far from between St. Rose and the airport in St. Martin's area. I'm located in Foul Bay, St. Philip.
Ah, the St. Martin's area. Okay, I got you now. Pretty near to St. Martin's area. So I now I can see the location, because, you know, I know the name Foul Bay. Is like, how do I get there? How do I get there? And you just identified it for me. That's good. So here you are offering this service, and what are your opening hours? So I really want people to check you out and to come and experience all that you offer. So what are your opening hours?
My opening hours are Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Also, I do an appointment-only system, so I don't do walk-ins, especially during this COVID environment.
Yes.
We do absolutely no walk-ins, so we schedule the appointment, and that's how we go from there.
Are you happy doing what you're doing?
I am thrilled. I am excited, and I never feel, in this industry, I've never felt as though I work a day in my life. It always feels like I'm having fun. I'm interacting with customers. I'm meeting new people. I'm getting opportunities. So I never feel like I work a day in my life. And I always wanted to be in a career, whereas when I have to get up and get ready to work on mornings, I don't have to feel like,
yes.
I am motivated. I'm excited to get up on mornings and,
I know how you
conquer
feel.
the world.
I feel the same way too. You know, whatever it is, I agree. You should have fun doing what you do. Enjoy what you're doing. When the day becomes a job, find something else. You know, just love what you're doing enough and let them pay you for doing what you do. So here it is now.
Correct.
People who are watching this morning think, but you're an athlete, and here it is now. You're running your own business. What kind of support have you had from other industries, other people, family? What kind of support have you had?
The support, as I said, I have a really strong support system. My from conception was always there for me. My mom, well, she allowed me, before I had my own salon, I was working in my mom's living room. So I would transform her front house into a complete salon waiting area.
Yes.
And she just allowed me to grow.
Yes.
And I really have to thank her for that. So Mom, I know that you're listening, so I really want to thank her for that. And I had the support from my friends, from my former school. I have the support from my church, and I have associated my business with being in Fobe. I have associated my business with other businesses and there's other churches and stuff that also support me.
Yes.
So I have a really strong support system. That's what I can say.
That's really good to know. That's happening for you. And it's, folks, for those of you watching, it's by appointment. So you need to know how to contact. So show us again how we can contact you, and we can start to book appointments so we can experience the service of Velegance Beauty Salon.
I have a Instagram and Facebook, Velegance Beauty Salon, or you can call or WhatsApp me on my number 841-1402 to book and to schedule an appointment. Also, my email address, velegancebeautysalon@gmail.com. So you can contact me at any one of these platforms.
It's that one place where true beauty begins, offering a range of services like the acrylic and gel nails, waxing, manicures, pedicures, of course, barbering and styling and all the like indeed. And so for anyone of any hair texture, can they come to you, or do you only specify in certain hair textures?
No, I do all hair. I started off doing natural hair and locks only, but as I have a passion to learn and to grow, so when I studies, I went into relaxed hair, I went into doing all different types of hair. So right now I do everything. We are a one-stop shop. Everything in beauty is offered in my salon. So we're a one-stop shop. So I do natural hair, relaxers, curls, cuts, colors, treatments, and we really care about the quality of your hair. So it's not just about the styling, but it's about the quality and the health of your hair.
This is so lovely, lovely, lovely indeed. Velegance Beauty Salon at Foul Bay in St. Philip. Remember, Velegance Beauty Salon on social media, be it Facebook or Instagram, and you can see her there, or you can send her the email to velegancebeautysalon@gmail.com. Book your appointment. Nails, she does barbering, waxing, manicures, pedicures, acrylic and gel nails, and the service range will be expanding. What's the next stage of your business as you see it right now?
Right now, I'm looking to expand my company. As I'm having so much customers and so much large clientele, I know that I won't be able to do everything on my own. So as I told you before, I'm looking to employ, but I also want to expand the structure so that I can not only hold more people within the restrictions of social distancing and everything, but so that I can offer everything. So I will have the barbering, I will have the nail station, I will have the, I want to go into massage therapy as well. So I want to offer everything in one space, in one shop. That's my next step is to expand on that level.
This is great. Take your time, but do it and do it. I know you'll do it very well with Veligance. Indeed, that's how you'll do it. Veligance Beauty Salon at Fall Bay, St. Philip. Give her a call. I hope that so many people check you out today and they book their appointments with you, because success seems to follow you and it looks good on you and it looks good on your clients as well. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and thank you so much for the creations, the joy, the comfort, the beauty, the confidence that you bring to people through what you do at Veligance Beauty Salon. And quite young you are, and I'm so happy to have met you this morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Morning Barbados. Much success.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're very welcome indeed. Her real name is Velsina Hunt. Her business name is Veligance Beauty Salon. They're at Fall Bay in St. Philip. Check them out, book your appointment, and experience all of the elegance that she offers at Veligance Beauty Salon. We're going to take a break here. We're coming back with the news and more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 2.5 minutes after 7 o'clock now. Let's get an update on the news. Here's Shane Seeley.
Here's your 7 a.m. headline news. The Barbados Labour Party will continue its housing projects in rural Barbados and especially in Orange Hill. This assurance is coming from the Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley as she addressed a mass meeting in Belle Plaine St. Andrew last night in support of the candidacy of Dr. Rommel Springer for that constituency. Here's what she had to say.
You have seen some of the most significant housing developments take place in the last 30 years there. We haven't stopped. We will continue. And I want to give you the assurance. You do your part for me on the 19th of January, and we shall do our part for you for the next 5 years. I ask you, therefore, we are in difficult times. I ask you to remain safe. But I ask you to recognize that your ability to come out and to give Rommel that vote is an indication that you too don't want him just to get by, just to win. You want to send a message that you have a son of the soil that you want to send up there with the largest possible majority and mandate that you can give him.
And BLP candidate for St. Peter, Colin Jordan, says that there are stark differences between his party and the DLP, the Democratic Labour Party. During a fiery speech at the meeting last night, Jordan highlighted the fact that under the last DLP administration, tertiary education was no longer free for students in Barbados.
The people of the North suffered when those people who call themselves the inheritors of Arabar's legacy sought to destroy education in this country. People in St. Peter and St. Lucie and St. Andrew, all over the north, having to stop university because they, after they climbed the ladder, thought that the best thing to do was to kick it down. This Barbados Labour Party has restored tertiary education free at the point of delivery.
There is a view that much of the Barbadian electorate lacks confidence in political representation here on the island. Democratic Labour Party candidate for St. Michael Southeast, Pedro Shepherd, who spoke to CBC News at a campaign meeting in St. Philip North, where he was supporting fellow party candidate Michael Lashley, assured that from his party's end, it's about servitude and proper representation.
Too many persons in the constituency, and I suspect it is all over Barbados, are saying that all politicians are the same, that they only come to you for the vote and then you don't see them again until the next general election. So I keep saying to people that it is an extremely hard task to convince people that we, the new and young politicians, are here to be different. We are here to restore some confidence in the electorate. We're here to ensure that the electorate once again feel that politicians are there to be their servants. And throughout this campaign, the Democratic Labour Party candidates will ensure that they remind people that they are being elected to the Parliament of Barbados to be servants and not to be politicians.
Meanwhile, we are hearing proposals for a comprehensive development plan for the Six Roads area. It's coming from the DLP candidate for St. Philip South, Neil Marshall. He believes consideration needs to be given for entrepreneurs to expand business in that area.
There is a situation where residents, and when I say residents, I'm not only going to speak of persons from St. Philip South, but also persons from St. Philip generally. But they're now being crowded out of that space, and they're more or less being relegated to the most unsuitable and undesirable areas. And government must play a developmental role in any and everything that it does, and that developmental role must be primarily to facilitate those persons who cannot or find it more difficult to provide the sort of environment or infrastructure and capitalization that would allow them to advance and to support themselves and their families.
There were 420 new COVID-19 cases here in Barbados, as shown on the latest dashboard from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Of the 420 taken from 1,978 tests, there are 172 males and 248 females. From a care perspective, 184 patients are in isolation facilities, while 2,019 are in home isolation. And finally, the planned phased return for students to the physical classroom on January 24th may not go ahead as planned. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union has made it clear its teachers will not be returning to face-to-face instruction in light of the surge in the number of COVID-19 cases linked to the Omicron variant. The BSTU is expected to enter into talks with education officials in the coming days, but the President, Marianne Redmond, tells the Morning Report her teachers are very concerned about the current COVID situation, with a record number of new cases registered over the past 3 days.
In my opinion, the second term looks very iffy, both for the protection of teachers, students, and other workers in the schools, given Omicron. The thing is that, as I said, in the interim, parents should use the time to get their children vaccinated, so that they return to school as protected as they can be. The secondary cohort especially are those most resistant to the protocols, most non-compliant to the COVID protocols. They're the ones that generally have a problem keeping their masks on, maintaining physical distance, the transportation system as well. is one that is of grave concern to us. The fact that you lose, quote unquote, control of the children once they are outside of the school premises.
And that's it for your headline news for this Friday, January the 7th. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back to you, Pearson.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane, indeed. Shane will be back at noon, as he said. It's 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. We'll take a break here. When we come back, I'll share with you what we hope to be, for you, a good decision of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 11 minutes past the hour now. Now time for me to share with you what we hope for you will be a good decision of the day today. Words of inspiration that we hope will help you make up your mind. We want to remind you that winning is not necessarily finishing first, but finishing well. To be the best and give the best of your God-given abilities. When you embrace this concept in your life, you will be relieved from the stress of competing to finish first, to win in life. So when you just relax and realize that winning is not necessarily about finishing first, but doing your best, then you relax and you realize, the stress goes. It's not about competing. It truly is about being the best and winning in life. That's all it's about. Living your best life, as I always say. So that we hope will be your best decision with it. Just refocus, and you'll realize that you can be the best you're meant to be. 12 after the hour, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, that man who for the last 40 years have been just about wholesome food. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 minutes after 7 now, I think he is so fascinating indeed. I find his story interesting indeed. Dr. Aris Latham, we've met him this week, of Sun-Fired Food. Got it right this time around. Good morning to you, Dr. Aris.
Good morning, great morning to you.
Okay. Good to see you yet again. I think your story is so interesting as you shared it then with us. Just give us a little peek into your life. But I want you now to give wholesomely a little bit more about who you are and why you are who you are. You're 74 years old, unbelievable by the look that we see. And very often that's how we assess a lot of things, by its look. But there's so much more beneath who you are. So tell me why you got interested over 40 years ago in simply sun-fired, wholesome, raw, as we say, food.
Well, I was born right here in Panama. My ancestry goes back to Jamaica and Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
My maternal grandparents came from Barbados during the building of the canal. Joseph Thorpe, my grandfather, and Frederica Clark, my grandmother from Barbados. So pretty much, you know, we grew up on the canal zone at the time, the U.S. Panama Canal Zone. And I basically just hanging out, you know, with grandma in the kitchen, you know, and with grandpa in the field, you know, in the chicken coop, you know. But growing up then, we're talking, you know, I was born in 47, so we're talking in the 50s. Here I am, you know, of course, back then it was the little coal pot that I think we moved up to the kerosene stove.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yes.
so cooking was very minimal. It was very minimal. And we're living in the rainforest, you know. And so it's kind of boring in those places when you're a kid, you know, unless it's raining and oranges and mangoes falling from the tree and we go outside and, you know, play with them and that kind of stuff. Or, you know, we see the parrots, you know, moving from one side of the sky and we get our slingshots. You know, we find little things to amuse ourselves. But my big amusement was just basically being with grandma in the kitchen. You know, any excuse to get in the kitchen. You know, grandma, look, let me grate the coconuts for y'all, wash the dishes, anything. You know, I'm 7, 8 years old, you know, and I'm trying to fit in, you know, there's nothing else to do. And then, you know, Sunday morning, you know, grandpa over there in the chicken coop, I'm thinking he's the man playing with the chicken, you know, so we help him grab the bucket, you know, put it on the chicken and wring the neck off. And fun, you know?
Yeah, we know how it goes.
Yeah, so this is how it started, you know.
But there you are, you know, you had your, what we would consider to be the traditional start. You're eating the foods that we've all grown to eat as well, because if he's growing chicken for you to eat. You're eating meat as well. So those things you ate, but then you made a decision no longer to eat those things. What was it that caused you to make that switch?
Well, I migrated to the U.S. At the age of 17. So here I am, you know, in public schools and eating in the cafeteria and enjoying the standard American diet. You know, you get introduced to sloppy joe and hot dog and hamburgers. And like, whoa, nice, you know. So by the time I move on to college, you know, at the university, you know, I have a heart murmur, you know, 2 years later, you know, my stamina is low. I used to be, you know, big in the athletics, swimming, you know, track and field, gymnastics, and I couldn't even make the grade, you know, to really, because I got into the culture, you know, drinking wine, smoking weed, and all these things. But here I am at the university, and we're talking the 60s, you know, late 60s, and the revolution is on, you know, globally. There's a big revolution going on all over the world, but our revolution in my neighborhood, in the college campus, it was about food.
Right.
So here we are, the hippie era, you know, the hippies, back to the land, you know, natural eating, organic foods. And then the Vietnam War, you know, we won't go, you know, we're not going to fight the rice war in Vietnam, you know. So this food theme kept coming up, you know, and then being in the inner city in Brooklyn, you know, the African-American community, so the Black Power movement. And it's like, oh, no, we're not eating the foods that come into our neighborhood. They're weapons. My apple don't look same as the apple I see up top, you know. So it was a conscious decision to basically, you know, defend myself as a revolutionary, protect my life, and not eat foods that I know that are going to make me sick, you know. And we're talking now, here I am, you know, 20 years old.
Yes.
I guess steep right there, you know, you learn with your peers, you know, and being a student, you know, I'm curious about books and all of this thing, knowledge, information. So I go buy a book on fasting, you know, natural living, natural eating. And over the years, I accumulated a library of over 12,000 books, self-taught, you know, how to live the natural life and how to prepare my food and defend myself in the kitchen just the way I grew up with grandma.
What are some of the physical or health changes that you've noticed about yourself having made that decision to simply eat wholesome, raw food sun-fired?
Yeah, well, it's been 52 years now, no animal products, you know, what today they will call a vegan.
Mm-hmm.
52 years. Not even honey. You know, honey is vomit. It's sweet, but it's still vomit. It comes through the bee system. You know. So, but anyway, look, in terms of benefits that I've seen, you know, physically, health-wise, and so forth, you know, definitely at my age, I'm totally disease-free. I could say that, you know, thanks to God. You know, I have 20/20 vision. You know, I do my regular medical exam, you know, to get my driver's license renewed. Once you pass 70, you have to do that, you know, on a regular basis. And everything checks out. My blood sugar, everything is fine. I think the only thing that always come up with a little bump is the what they call my B12.
Right.
You know, so because you know there's no B12 in plant foods, at least you know the way we know B12 to be. So, but still, I show none of the symptoms associated with a B12 deficiency at all. You know, and the symptoms are usually, you know, mental, you know, inadequacy, you know, borderline Alzheimer's, forgetfulness, you know, and those things. You know, but I feel like my brain is not shrinking. It feels like it's growing. You know, I'm clearer, wiser, you know, and more alert, more attentive, you know, on the spot, even at my age. And then also your nerves. Your nerves are supposed to be wrecked, you know, because you're getting B12. My nerves are steady and strong, you know. And I attribute this to not eating any cooked food specifically. So it's been 47 years now that I do not consume any cooked foods whatsoever.
And you know,
it's all fresh plant food that basically has been cooked by the sun.
And for a lot of us, that's extremely difficult to understand because, you know, we want hot food to begin with. So to have that hot food, it has to be cooked or microwaved. That's another thing that we do a lot nowadays. That kind of thing. So help us understand, what is it? What do you have for breakfast, lunch, and what we call dinner?
Okay, well, right now I am breaking my fast. What we call a breakfast is the second phase of our day. The body goes through a 3-phase cycle every day. So divide your day into 3 equal parts of 8 hours. And the 8 hours that we're sleeping, the body is doing its repair work. That's the reparation mode. When we wake up in the morning, we go into phase 2. This is the elimination phase, or breaking of the fast. Because when we're sleeping, we're fasting. So breaking of the fast. So it's not a breakfast, it's a break fast. So in breaking my fast, which generally I do around 6 o'clock, because I follow what I call also the daylight diet. So I only eat when the light is, the natural light, the sun is up, you know. So the first thing I do is to take an internal shower. We know about the external shower. We're very particular about the external shower, but the internal shower is just as critical, you know. So I'm coming in the morning and hosing out, washing out, scrubbing out, flushing out my intestinal system, my digestive system. So the best thing for an internal shower is coconut water. The water from the young, fresh coconut. It's full of electrolytes, electrical energy. It stimulates the system to release toxins, and basically it starts, you know, activating our energy points. So I don't have any coconut water today, so I take the next best thing for my internal shower, watermelon juice.
Okay.
You know, watermelon juice. And we know, you know, you mentioned earlier that I haven't drank water in 40 years. Yes, I haven't drank water as we know water to be.
Right.
I drink watermelon. Watermelon. I drink coconut water. So coconut water is water. I do drink coconut water. I do drink watermelon. I do drink watercress. I do drink the liquid from water apple, orange juice, papaya juice, lettuce juice, spinach juice. Any liquid that you extract from a fresh plant food is water. Is water. So the coconut tree is my spring. The coconut tree pumps the water out of the earth with the help of the sun, naturally, and package it in these coconuts, you know, which I call the breast of the earth. You know, package it in pineapple. pineapple juice is pineapple water. Okay.
Okay.
So I do drink water that comes through plants. So it has to be filtered from the plant. But the water that we're drinking, we filter it with mechanical, man-made machinery rather than using the natural machinery of nature. A watermelon is packaged water. The watermelon vine, technically you can just look at it as a hose. The vine of the watermelon is a hose that's connected to an underground spring. It taps that spring and pulls the water out and packages it in these beautiful fruits that we call watermelon. That's bottled water, bottled by nature at the source. So when you get a 30-pound watermelon, might yield you about 3 gallons of water.
Yes.
Well, not that much, maybe a gallon of water. That's a gallon bottle of water, packaged perfectly. Goes back to the earth, the packaging breaks down, everything. So we need to change our perspective of how we see food and look at the grand work that Mother Nature has done for us, and enjoy it so that you can enjoy the rest of your life with sound health.
You say here that it is not the food in your life, but the life in your food that nourishes. And so for all who watch it, because I've got to leave it right here now, you're such an interesting young man, such a young man you are, on the 15th of January, you're going to be having that one-day moment when we can all connect with you socially and online and learn even more about this and your way of life and how we can use sun-fired food to change and to nourish our system, to change our health, really, at the end of the day. And I'm looking forward to that as well. We've already posted it on our social media so we can connect with you to know more. It said, Gimme Raw, Ripened, Awakened, Whole, January the 15th. It's a one-day raw food virtual retreat. And all of that information you will find on our social media pages. So you can log in, folks, and learn from this man. This man, indeed, Dr. Aris Latham. Thank you again so much for joining us, my Barbadian brother. And I want to wish you only the very best going forward. You're a really interesting guy. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate sharing with my family in Barbados.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Dr. Aris Latham is his name. Remember, the Gimme Raw, that symposium, a one-day expo, virtual expo with you, is on the 15th of January. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, that name that's familiar to all of you, we'll put the face to that name and we'll hear the story after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
28 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Our next guest loves to dance. I mean, she just dances She dances all the time. So music is a critical part of what she does. Our next guest loves children as well. And so she works with things that enhance the experience with children. Our next guest is Rhonda Hines Graham. Rhonda, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning, Pearson.
Look at my set, Lucy girl right here, look. Right here, indeed.
Good morning, Pearson.
Yes, madam. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Of course, I can hear you.
Okay.
So we good. We good.
Good
we good.
morning, Friend Lucy. Good morning.
Indeed.
You know how we do it, so how should I address you?
It's all right. You just call me Pearson.
Pearson boy?
No. Pearson.
Our teacher?
Listen.
Teacher?
Pearson.
Mr. Boyne.
Yeah, that's how they call us in St. Lucie. Bynes. That's all right. That's okay.
Yes.
So, Rons, good to see you.
So good to see you too, and Happy New Year to you and everyone.
Likewise, my friend. You know, everyone who knows us, you and me, they would think that we've known each other all our lives, even though we're from the same parish. No, I only met Rhonda a few years ago from the QFM experience.
Exactly, in 2016. And you know the
Yes.
first time that we would have met in person, because we would have met online, on the
Right.
wall. Let all them
Right.
know about the wall that you have created. And that's where we met. And
Rhonda,
then I
yes.
officially met you at a funeral.
Indeed, indeed. So, Rhonda is the president of the Early Morning Wall Crawlers. For those of you who listened to Q100.7 FM or would have listened while I was on for sure, you would have known that's what we did in the morning. We crawled that wall. We really littered the wall with comments and commentary. And then one day, they turned up here in the studio, as you can see here in the photograph. There she is with the lady of Glendalough, Janlyn Skeet, Cytomia Worrell, and Berkeley Sobers. And that was a surprise. I remember that morning so well when I was just guest
Oh, yes, the
hosting.
28th of May. The 28th of May, 2018.
Walked in the door and shot the living daylights out of me. That was so nice of you
Yes.
guys right there. But you guys are such a wonderful, warm group. And I want people to understand a little bit more about the group. Well, how would you describe the Early Morning Wall Crawlers?
As I often say, and I tell people, we were born out of the experience with you doing the morning show. I mean, we were all strangers. Strangers, we would come on our mornings. We'd be there when you started at 4:30.
Yes.
And we started to greet each other, good morning. We started sharing. And then the caring started, right? And then the name came about because I was like, we wake up so early. What do you do on the wall, Papa Pearson? I keep saying, post on the wall, post the greetings. And no matter what we put on the wall, he would read. And I said, you know what? The only thing you can do on a wall is crawl.
Yes.
And that's how the name Early Morning Wall Crawlers. Wake up from our beds, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, post our greetings, and we are there when Pearson strike up at 4:30. We are there, and then we went on to the restaurant and everything.
Yes.
Can't touch the restaurant. And those early morning birthday calls, they were so inspirational. And then the Bible trivia. I want to talk about the Bible trivia.
Listen, everybody's on the social media talking about you, Roger McMillan,
I know,
Slender Glenna, all of them, Carolyn, Lil Carolyn. We had so much
Morning to
fun.
all of my Early Morning Wall Crawler sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
Love you all. You know the love here and abroad, because Pearson not only in Barbados, we have the wall crawlers.
everywhere.
We have them all over.
Yes,
Joanne in
indeed.
England, we got Waveney and Waveney
And
Trouble,
Elaine.
Elaine and Fort
Yes.
Lauderdale, back home in New York.
David Sullivan,
so
David G. Sullivan and his wife Holly
Oh
as
yeah,
well,
don't talk about
in
David
Tennessee.
G. Don't talk about David G.
It was
right?
so much fun. But you went on to the point where you guys came together,
Oh
you
yeah,
formed the
Pearson.
group.
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, New York. You formed the group and you've got shirts and everything. I mean, the level of organization. And folks, I had nothing to do with it. I just sat by and let them do it. But the level of organization is phenomenal, the work that you do.
Yes, and with a deputy like Jan is the vice president, and you can want a better organizer than Jan. You put the idea there, and Jan run with it, and it works well. It works well. And then, we had our cruise, the cruising crawlers. We
Yes.
went cruising in 2019. Then we used to have our monthly church services with a fellow wall crawler, and that it brought us even closer. And then we would have our yearly anniversary at All Saints with Father Lord.
Oh yeah, my boy.
Everybody embraced us. Everybody embraced us.
My boy, we're going to church with my boy. And that
pork
was
chops and all.
Exactly, it's pork chop, some coke. That was Reverend Law indeed. But such fun we've had. I mean, I know the picnics, the social gatherings,
yes,
everything.
Everything. The kids sales, if you visiting the nursing homes and stuff, everything.
Yeah.
But as everything, COVID come now, I put a dent, but we are still here. We are still much alike, but we just can't do like we are accustomed doing. But God is our guide, and He will continue to bless us. I know that we are blessed, and we are special
Indeed.
people. We are blessed.
Billy Scant, good morning, Pearson and Rhonda Hines Graham. Auntie Faye, good morning, Rhonda. We've had Jay Puckering.
I know all of them. All of them will be up this morning.
They're all there. What do you see, Rhonda, how do we get it going again? How do we get everybody all energized and back together, do you think?
It will just take time. It probably be the opportunity that we can really get back out there. I know it will happen because we just love to be together, And it will happen. It will happen because we
Yeah.
have the guys too. There are not many guys. We have Richard. We have Berkeley.
Yes.
They are the faithful. You have Stevenson and you have Dennis Connell. But they're always there for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they keep us. They're our security. Our security type.
Yes, yes, yes. But you know, Rhonda, but you, sweet Rons, I know you're fantastic. You make some really great conkeys. My goodness me,
As
every
I tell you,
November. Sorry.
right, shout it out, shout it out.
You know,
what
look.
my conkeys are. Look them there.
Conkeys. These are conkeys, ladies and gentlemen, with currants.
And tell them, Pearson, tell them, shout
Really,
it
really
out.
good. Really, really good conkeys. So you're fantastic in the kitchen because I've seen all of your culinary experiences. When she puts up her pictures of her breakfast and dinner, makes my mouth water every time. So that's what you do. You love to dance a lot.
Yes, I got that from my mother.
You know, she loves to dance. But you're also a mother of 3 and a grandmother. And folks would never believe it.
3. Yes, and I'm almost 60. Pearson,
Wow.
I'm looking at 60, in a couple of weeks.
Fantastic. You're going to be there but you're looking great for 60. But how do you keep I remember one of my sisters asked, how is it that Rhonda is always so happy? What do you say?
I think I'm blessed. I believe that I was blessed. My grandparents, the blessings that came from my grandparents and my mother, because I was growing up with my grandparents in St. Lucie and Pearson. You know how it is growing up with grandparents. The love.
Yes.
The love. I got so much from my grandfather. My grandfather was my inspiration, right? So I think it's like they're gone on, but they left that with me, and I continue to share. And I love, if it's one thing, I love seeing people happy, and I love throwing surprises. So that's how you got the big surprise. I remember the surprise, Kimberly, a year before we had a Q Lime at Graves, and she was shot. Then we surprised my auntie. I love organizing anything like that. I just love to see people happy, even with my 49ers, because as you know, my year group too. Especially year group is 73 to 80 at St. Lucie Secondary, Dr. Darrell Jordan.
Yes.
They are my brothers and sisters from age 5. Some I would have met at age 5 and some at 11, and we still have that love bond today. So I'm looking forward to celebrating with all of my 49ers, our big 60, because it's a blessing. You know, some have already become 60, but when we all get together, it will be magical. Same way with the early morning walk.
It is going to be sweet indeed. So, Rhonda, girl, I got to let you go, but thank you so much.
I know. We could talk all morning.
Forever.
You know how we do it.
Forever. We can talk. But thank you for all of the work you continue to do, and you have done I call you really a big social worker, a big community worker, not just in the physical community, but in the broadcasting community as well. You do great work, Rhonda. You're such a kind, giving person, and I want to always let people know that I really, really appreciate everything that you've done for me, with me, and with so many others who you've reached out and helped as well. So thank you for being the wonderful person that you are. You know, and if there's one thing else, Rhonda, that you'd love to be able to do, what do you think that would be?
I don't know, because I think I love traveling. My dancing, entertaining. I don't know anything else that comes along. You know, Rhonda gonna jump in there, Pearson. You know me. You know me. Always ready.
For sure. For sure. My big production crew is telling me, hold on for a second. Just hold. Ron's Luck. You remember this?
Yes.
This was the church hall at St. All Saints. You look with Marcel with the clock, and look at this, look.
Oh yes. You know, and I love the camera. You know, I love the camera.
Yes, these were the days, boy. When we went to church together as Junior John. Look at Reverend Selvin Lowe in the middle there, Mr. Claus. Gabby the Pink Boss, right in his pink as well.
Oh yes.
And look at Gail over there on the right hand side behind my boy Junior. We had so much fun. We've done so much. There you are with Kimberly outside as well while doing a broadcast. Jaquila, again, always giving and sharing. surprising with Mark Anthony in Cape Shepherd, where it was Slender Glenda, harder and Slender Glenda.
Exactly.
You know, that's the life that we love. That's the life that you bring to people as well. I want to thank you for being who you are. Don't change. Don't ever change, Rons. Don't ever change.
No, Pearson, this is Rhonda.
Yes,
There's only
yes.
one Rhonda. Luanda
Yes.
only had one daughter, and that was Rhonda Heinsbrand.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Pearson,
You're
and thanks
welcome.
to all of my family up there. Love you all.
All right, Roz, take care. I call her Sweet Rons. Sweet Rons. That's the name of her conky business, by the way. Sweet Rons Conkies. Indeed, November don't miss me without having myself some Sweet Rons Conkies. 20 minutes to the hour. We're going to take a break here. We're coming back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Nineteen to the hour, people are writing, and people are reading. And so this next guest, when we turn this next chapter, has a vast area of experience in woodwork and construction. So he's put it all together in the book, Understanding Industry Core Concepts. His name is Seth Dalsey. Good morning to you, Seth.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing today, Seth?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Tell me about the book and the reason for the book.
Well, the book came about from, first off, I teach. I'm a teacher, right? And I teach in the Industrial Arts Department. And over the few years, I have been seeing that, there's some more that can be added to what the children are being given in terms of the literature that's available. So I took it on myself to challenge myself and I write a book that is going to fill the gap that I saw. So the Understanding Industry book came about that way.
So the book is about supplementing the curriculum, or is it also about anybody, me for instance, total novice at woodwork? Is it also for me to be able to pick up and be able to do things?
Well, the book is catered for the curriculum. It's looking at the 4th to 5th as they go on their journey to complete their CSEC examination. And the book, it will give them better understanding what they need to do in a section of the syllabus called the Fundamental Industry. So they are going to use that information and it'll be better able to, do the exam, complete it successfully.
It's a user's manual and user's workbook. So how did you go about finding the subject areas and how did you get it down onto paper so that it becomes a book?
Well, I started since 2017. I was just putting some information together. And then actually this year, around summer, I decided that, I'm going to put it together. I got in contact with a friend of mine, Robert Gibson from Passionate Words. And we came together and then we started compiling the work. And it came about, it had a little challenge, somewhat challenges in it, but I found that the challenge was uplifting. It gave me insight. I felt that after this book, I could do another one, and that's the plan. It's going to be a series because the technical learning series. This is only book 1. It has a companion answer booklet with it, but it is also going to be one of many more that I'm planning to write.
I mean, it's not exhaustive. I mean, the areas in which children need some assistance would not be exhaustive. But do you think in this, Understanding Industry Core Concepts, you've captured broadly most of what it is that our children are challenged to understand?
Broadly, yes. There's always something you can go into depth with in detail, but right now it is just giving them a broad perspective of what needs to be done. There's some additional information that's going to be there to give them, because some of them have to do some self-teaching, but other than that, it's a broad approach to what needs to be done. And as I said, there's going to be much more to come.
I'm told it reached about number 47 and number 48 on Amazon's hottest new releases. That must have thrilled your heart to hear.
First off, I didn't even know it had a list like that. And secondly, when I heard it, I was pleased. You know, the number, even just being on the list was an accomplishment for me. I felt that there is, when you apply yourself and you have an idea, never limit yourself. Never think that you can't get it done. Sometimes you only need a little guidance. You need a little someone to talk to, someone that could give you the encouragement that you need, and that's what happened. And so here I am, 47 and 48.
So it's available naturally then on Amazon. Understanding Industry Core Concepts. It's available on Amazon. Where else on the island in particular can it be available?
Unfortunately, well, I'm going to have some copies soon, but it just became live this week. So the copies I'm on the process of getting the copies here, and you know that would take a little time to get everything sorted out. But it's also available on Kindle. So you can, if you are not desirous of getting the paperback, you can go onto the Amazon. You could use tiny URL / Understanding Industry, and then you could purchase it there, the Kindle version.
It complements, you said, the curriculum taught in school. So what's been the response by the Ministry of Education to this adjunct to what's taught on the curriculum?
Well, I have been in talks. We had a little discussion, and they're just waiting some feedback right now. Okay. So that's a favorable feedback, hopefully.
It's a work in progress,
Yes, please.
And so you're working on the next book, right?
Yes, please.
And when can we expect publication of the next book?
Well, my goal is within a year to do 2.
Oh, 2.
And I already have 2 already. So then it's just to one more, just to make sure that I have exceeded my expectations. So I'm looking to see before summer of this year. I'm going to try to compile everything and hopefully have it out before the end of this year.
You are a teacher of woodwork and the like, right?
Yes.
You teach not just here, you teach internationally as well, but now you're an author as well.
Yes,
was that a part of your thinking when you decided this is the industry in which I wanted the profession in which I wanted to lend my assistance?
Well, I always found that reading was always something that students always had to be a part of. I started off, I have on Facebook, I have a comic book group, Comics Appreciation Team, acronym CAT. I also had a small group, Club Revamp, and I like acronyms. So Revamp stood for reading engineered via artwork, medium, and plot, right? Where persons could come to the club. You could use any reading material. It will give you it's supposed to help you read and get excited about reading.
Right.
All right. And then from there, one of my colleagues can say that I always have a lot of I compile a lot of workbooks and what have you, always information there. And then I just go to the next level and create the book. So that was the natural transition for me.
This is great. This is fantastic. I want to encourage everyone to get onto Amazon and look for Understanding Industry Core Concepts by Seth Dulcie and get a copy of it. It's really great for the children to learn more about how they can apply some of the techniques that they would have learned in their woodwork and other skilled activities while in school. Seth, all the best with the book. I really hope that students really are encouraged to buy it and get it, and that the Ministry of Education gives you that nod that really helps it to be a part of the curriculum as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome indeed. Morning Barbados continues right after this.
You talk to me well spiritual, yeah, I like it. Nobody gets it like you. 5 o'clock every morning, play that tune. I put it in the middle, the bass that groove. I catch you to the left, you get the right attitude in the dance.
She's Barbadian. Yeah, she's Barbadian. Her name is Vanessa Bongo. She's a reggae artist. And that's her latest video release. It's called Superhero, taken from the album Love, the Love Trilogy. Vanessa, good morning to you.
Good morning, person. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing? Thank you for asking.
I am great. I've been watching Mornin Barbados from since I was a wee little tot, so I'm very excited and happy to be here.
Girl, you got me feel so old, but thank you.
Oh my gosh, no, don't feel old, don't feel old.
That's all right. That's all right. That's okay. Listen, congratulations on your latest video release. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. So what is it about you that got you so passionate about reggae, first of all?
Well, my first exposure to reggae, my mom used to listen to a lot of Buju Banton and stuff, but I first was singing reggae with Buggy Nakente.
Oh.
So I used to sing, backup singing with Buggy, Tabitha, you know.
Yes, yes.
That was when McBride's was open. I don't know if McBride's still open. But yeah, so that was my first exposure to reggae. And then I came to Jamaica to study theater, to continue my studies. And yeah, I continued on here in the reggae genre.
Nice.
Reggae, yeah. I like the message in reggae, the vibrations of reggae, like that's just me.
You call yourself a rebel of love, light, and conquest. I like that. I like the way you phrased it. A rebel of love, light, and conquest. What does all of that mean at the end of the day?
So, basically exactly what it says. My music is all about positivity. My music is about bringing the African diaspora together from the Caribbean, you know, us Africans in the States, on the continent, and yeah, just bringing us together in more love and more peace, you know?
And so the album is called The Love Trilogy. Now, talk to me about this latest album. I'm curious, first of all, why the title Love Trilogy and what's on the album?
So, I wouldn't even call it an album, I would call it a trilogy. Right? Because it's a story, just like how you will have a book. A trilogy is a story in 3 parts. It's a love story. It's a combination of romances that I have experienced. You know, the first one, Superhero, is, you know, that stage of infatuation. Right, the rhythm. I actually, the guy at the time used to write songs together and stuff, so it's a play on words, right, the rhythm. And Kisses and Goodbyes, you know, when the relationship had to end. You know, that was the sad part. The trilogy didn't have a happy ending, but it's for you to find your own solace at the same time. So, you know.
So does it tell does this trilogy, this musical trilogy, does it tell your experience or is it written on other people's experiences?
No, definitely it tells my experience, which I hope is other people's experience, because all of us, we go through the same thing in love, you know. So you could say both. You know?
You could, I mean, just looking at you, looking at your surroundings, one can tell you are really immersed in the arts. Has this been your passion all your life?
From since I was a little girl.
Wow.
From forever. I've been singing on the stage. The only thing I can't do properly is dance. I need some dancing lessons. But yeah, that has been me from a little girl. I went to the NCF camp. I used to sing backups for the different soca shows, you know.
Wow.
I did theater at BCC. Like, I'm just, always around the arts.
So, but the name Vanessa Bongo, who chose that as your name, and what does it mean to you?
You know, it's so funny. People around me actually gave me that name. My middle name is Vanessa. At first my stage name was Vanessa Lee.
Yes.
But when my locks were shorter, people just gave me the name Bongo. So like even over here, people would call me Lee Bongo, Lee Bongo, Bongolese, Vanessa B. So then I was like, all right, hold up. My name is Vanessa Lee. My name is Vanessa Bongo, you know? Seriously, people seriously just called me Bongo.
Wow.
And then it's funny, coming up, I actually one of my sons, Just Send Me, did really great in Kenya. And it was at that time when I was doing interviews through Kenya that I found out that bongo is actually a genre over there.
Oh.
So, so it means much more. So to me, no, it has a deeper meaning. It's connecting me to my African roots.
Nice.
So, yeah, that is what bongo means.
So you're Vanessa much more. Vanessa Bongo, Vanessa much more to come for you indeed. So for those who wanted to experience your trilogy, your love trilogy, how can they get access to the love trilogy?
You can find the Love Trilogy on all platforms. iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, you name it.
Nice.
So, you just type in Love Trilogy and you can find it all over.
Sweet. By Vanessa Bongo, the Love Trilogy, featuring Superhero, which we just saw, Ride the Rhythm, and Kisses and Goodbyes. Now, these are 3 tracks which you will thoroughly enjoy when you check it out. It's reggae, for those who are into the reggae music as well, the reggae genre. But you know what? If you are not, it's a great reason to get immersed in it right now with Vanessa Bongo, because it's beautifully presented. It's clearly touching the heartstring because it's written about the life experience. And because it's written about the life experience, we can connect immediately. So check it out. It's going to be really fantastic. What's going to be next for you? Do I want some more music coming from you, Vanessa Bongo? You're working on
definitely. You can look up for more. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been locked down for the last 2 years.
Yes.
So I've been just creating. So I have a lot more, much more in store for this year soon to come. So, and you can look out for the videos as well for Ride the Rhythm and Kisses and Goodbyes. So stay tuned.
Sweet, stay tuned. Vanessa Bongo, Vanessa much more indeed. I'm going to call her from now on. By the way, do we have the music here on our radio stations? Vanessa, fingers crossed.
Oh no, I need to get it. I really need to.
Okay, so write this down. Send us the MP3s to a very simple email address. Very simple. It's CBC. You ready?
Yes, sir.
CBC operator.
Yeah.
@gmail.com.
cbcoperator@gmail.com.
That's the place to send that music to us, okay? And we'll get it on the air for you.
Thank you so much, Pearson.
You're very welcome, Vanessa. And thank you, too, for joining me this morning. Stop rating, man, and look back at me.
Yeah. Sorry.
I like you. That's all right. Vanessa Bongo, thank you so much indeed. All the much success, really, with everything you're doing, and much more love to you indeed. Thank you.
Much love. Blessings. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much indeed. Sweet. Check out the music. Check it out indeed, folks. It's the Love Trilogy by Vanessa Bongo. It's available on all those platforms. Download, and enjoy. So, before we go, a couple of things I want to remind you of, just a few. Mr. Executive, the challenge. Remember I told you about that from the St. Leonard's School. Well, it's being launched today to DAY. Continue tracking what's happening there, so hopefully we'll get to meet the winner of this season of the Mr. Executive at St. Leonard's Boys. Now, I'm hoping to head up to Emerald City this weekend because that's where the Queen of Culpeper will be. The author of the book, Movelle Jordan, from 9 o'clock each morning, Saturday and Sunday, will be there. Well, today, Friday and Saturday. She'll be there to autograph these books for you once you purchase them from Movelle Jordan. The Queen of Culpeper and Dem Come A-Calling. You can find those books by Movelle from 9 this morning and tomorrow morning at Emerald City's complex. And the Women in Tech blog, that blog we've been speaking about all week, will also be launching this Saturday, tomorrow. And you can go onto the website womenintechcaribbean.com and be a part of that blog. Read the blog, engage with women in technology in the Caribbean. Well, that's it for us today, this week as well. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you on behalf of our production crew, Nadia Foster, my producer, Roel Ford, our technical director, Michael Sobers, sound engineer, and Tamisha Green at Master Control. I'm Pearson Boyne for the crew. To all of you, wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week.